incredible run here for Suarez, but realistically speaking, Corbin Burns out. Corbin Carroll is out right now. This is not a contending team, especially in that division where you've got the Dodgers and the Padres and the Giants. It's just too much to bear. The Diamondbacks would be smart to let Jordan Lawler play every day, see what he is, and then probably move on from Suarez.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
And there's this one guy that's popping for me. It's like Tillinghast, Bomber's Paradise, Get Hot with the Putter, Northeast New York Horse. Like, I know a guy that fits that profile pretty well, that won a pretty big tournament at Wingfoot. Like, this is this like perfect for Bryson?
It's perfect for Bryson.
Wow.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the number one player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all three levels. And the thing about I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day on a terrific Tuesday evening. Scott Wetzel and Joe Madden for Dave Sherpan once again this evening for the next 2 glorious hours watching, analyzing, betting the world of sports. Ah, yes. We got baseball tonight. We got WNBA Commissioner's Cup Championship. Minus Caitlin Clark. We got some soccer stuff, some little World Cup qualifying to go into at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So put some shekels on some soccer action. Why not? We got our SGPs. We got our Black Clouds, both hitting, oh, by the way, yesterday. Cha-ching, cha-ching. We got our 5 on the line. We got it all over the next 2 hours. My partner in crime. Oh, by the way, we also don't want to bury the lead here. We have a pullover on the side of the road bet. That's one of those, Joe, where you don't want to wait to get to where you're going. If you're driving, watching us, listening to us, you pull over, get it now. That's how strong this bet is. We'll get to that as well over the next 2 hours. What's going on, Joe? How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy Canada Day to everyone out there listening, watching up in Canada. And the rest of you guys in America, let's celebrate Canada Day, that's for sure. We always celebrate July 4th up here. So it was great to see the Toronto Blue Jays pulling out the wind after a rocky start. They were able to get a 12-5 win over the New York Yankees, but the Yankees hitting hard in that first inning, getting those 2 runs. Scott, not gonna lie, I was a little worried that Kevin Gausman was going to completely blow that one like he did earlier in the season, allowing 6 runs to the Yankees, but he got it done. The Blue Jays winning that one 12-5. So it was a great game so far, and we've got a lot of great games on deck tonight.
Yeah, we do. We're minus a few, though. I will say Mother Nature showing who's boss once again, already wiping out, Joe, 3 games. The Mets game at home against Milwaukee off the board, rained out. Detroit in Washington to take on the Nationals. That's rained out today as well. And then San Diego with the Philadelphia Phillies. So obviously all on the East Coast here, all rained out already. And good job, I will say, because I'm the first to criticize some of these organizations and leagues, but good job. They canceled these things well in advance. Fans didn't have to go to the game. They didn't have to pay $20, $30, whatever, and $40 in some cases, honestly, to park and get into the stadium and buy all your stuff and then find out an hour later after getting drenched that the game was rained out. They did it well in advance, so good job by baseball to step up for the fans there. You don't see that too often.
Absolutely. It would be so frustrating getting to the game and getting in your seat and then
Oh,
finding
yeah.
out, you know, you got the rain delay and then it's just not going to go. So that is very good of them. The Miami Marlins, Scott, are they going to win another one here? They're up 1-0 right now for the Minnesota Twins. This team is playing hot.
It is. I tell you what, I hope they do because they are the subject of our pullover on the side of the road bet.
Okay.
I'll get to that here. That's a little tease. We'll get to that before we are through. And it is really, I think the boys at Vegas screwed up. I really do. Because the calculations that I'm going to give you about a bet pertaining to the market, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So, but before we do that, we have our little 5 on the line. The 5 best trends for the baseball games that have yet to start right now here on the grid. All right, last night we went a profitable 3-2, and I know, as we always say, if you start your sentence with "I only won," it's going to be a pretty good sentence. You really can't complain. But Joe, for the second straight game, and really the 4th straight for the Texas Rangers, they went to extra innings and they cost us an under bet again after doing the same thing to us on Sunday. Oh man, otherwise we would have went 4-1. But as you see there, we went 3-2. We can't complain. We hit with the Orioles winning. We hit with the Arizona Diamondbacks as plus 120 favorites winning. Hit with Seattle winning, and then we lost with the over 8 San Fran, and then that under 8.5. It was 3-3. They go to extra innings and end up being 10-6. So 3-2, unfortunately. Still, we are 68 games over 500. I kid you not. 200 up now. 132 down with 2 pushes. Not bad. So let's get to the 5 we have for tonight, Joe. We'll go in descending order on which ones are the best, although really, ultimately, it's the number 1 one, and all the others just kind of thrown together. But Colorado taking on the Astros. Astros 9-1, their last 10 against Colorado. Astros on a 6-1 run, their last 7. And Colorado is Colorado. I mean, listen, I can give you 1,000 examples of why you bet against Colorado, but ultimately they're 19-64. In fact, Houston had just as many wins in the month of June that Colorado has the entire season. So where are we going to go? You get a pretty good number, I think. Give me Houston minus the 160 at Colorado. Play trend number 4. We got Seattle 10-1 now after last night's win. 10-1 at home against Kansas City. Where are we going to go? Pretty easy with this one. Royals are scuffling as well. Oh, by the way, 1-8 their last 9. Give me Seattle minus the 136 at home against the Royals. Trend number 3. San Francisco 4-11 now after last night's loss. Their last 15 games. Arizona 8-3. Their last 11 at home. So where are we going to go? Bet against the Giants. Give me Arizona minus 134. Not bad number for a home team against San Fran. Trend number 2 as we go 5 down to 1. White Sox 5-12 their last 17 games. Dodgers 12-4 their last 16, including 9-1 their last 10-1 their last 11 meetings against the White Sox. So pretty obvious. It's going to be a fat number you see there, minus the 350. I will tell you, don't bet on the run line. When we run down the game, I'll explain why. But the White Sox are actually one of the best run line teams, and the Dodgers are actually one of the worst run line teams. So either bet it straight or put it in a parlay. And then that leaves us with only one, Joe. The coup de grace, creme de la creme, numero uno trend for tonight. Right back to the well we go. Baltimore, 28-14-1 under on the road as they are tonight. The number 1 under road team in baseball. They're taking on the Texas Rangers, 30-13 under at home. The number 1 under team at home in baseball. I know it lost last night, but it was just one of those fluky things because of extra innings. Right back we go, under 7, and it's probably 7.5 in some circles. 5 on the line, best trend, boys. Yeah, under 7, Baltimore at Texas. Joe, what do you think?
Okay, so I agree with you. This one should stay under. It comes into your face of young out here for the Baltimore Orioles. I just don't know how much I can trust him, Scott, but I do think that trend should be able to hold true. I'm looking for the Texas Rangers to get the majority of the runs that will be accumulated in this game. And the Baltimore Orioles, I really do think will be limited here versus DeGrom. So I think this is going to be an absolute sweat, but I still think that we stay under that total. I could see it being that 6-1 style game, pushing at 7, or that 5-1 style game, just getting us under. So I love where you're going with that trend. I stayed off the Houston Astros. Your number 5 trend out there, the Houston Astros on the money line. This line just smelled so fishy because of everything that you said, Scott. I just couldn't look at this line and think that we were getting a right line for the Houston Astros. In my mind, they should have been, that minus 180 style of favorite. The line's actually dropped to minus 144 now. What the heck is going on? Why is Colorado getting so much love at home?
Yeah, I don't know. You're right, though. That does have rat. You know what? I know Jeremy Pena's going to be out for a little while. He got hit in the ribs the other day by the Chicago Cubs, but it's still the Rockies, right? Who in their right mind? I don't care if they're playing Topeka High, Joe. Who in their right mind is putting hard-earned American or Canadian money on Colorado these days to make that line go as low as it's going? You know what? I'll play. Give me Houston. Soccer talk coming up next here in the Grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Joe, hour number one, just getting underway. We'll head back to the baseball in a little bit, but we do have some soccer tonight, little World Cup qualifying. So I'm not the greatest soccer guy. I don't think Joe is either. So what better time to bring in a guest? And that's Marcelino Ortiz. He is the TV host at Latin Nation FC. Follow him on Twitter, what JMO thinks. Marcelino, Scott, and Joe, how are you tonight?
How are you guys? Thank you for having me. Greetings from the Latin Nation Football Club, and we are very excited because the Club World Cup has reached its boiling point. The round of 16 is almost complete. We have one more game, Borussia Dortmund versus Monterrey, starting in about an hour, and full of upsets and great results. Yesterday, my main guys, the Manchester City, which I had slotted to be the champions of the tournament, got trashed and shown out the door by Al Hilal that has already tied with Real Madrid. So they are immediately favorites to go long on this tournament. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good. It's great to have you here. Sorry to hear about your team being shown the door, but what are we going to do with this game coming up in the next hour? Where are we going to put our money?
I think that there's a big opportunity for an upset. The odds are with, obviously, with the German team, Borussia Dortmund. This is a great team, very well coached, that has success in the Bundesliga. For the last 5 years, they've been a top 5 contender. They are also big players in Champions League. So the odds are clear for Borussia Dortmund. But Monterrey has shown that they are a tough team. They came and they brought a bunch of backup players for this tournament. The biggest profile of them all, Sergio Ramos, the former captain from Real Madrid, and he's playing like he's 25 and he's almost 40. The spirit, the aggressivity that he has infused into this team gives them an edge. The tactical placement of Monterrey gives them the possibility of an upset. I have my money on Monterrey to give an upset because what we're seeing is that these European teams are getting a little too comfortable. They don't know how these teams play. They are used to a different type of soccer that is more predictable. And now they see teams that are giving them all the motivation. Like I've been saying it, these teams are playing for almost $140 million. So if you have teams like Borussia Dortmund, Manchester City, it might not sound like that much. But for Monterrey or for Fluminense, this is life-changing money, and they are playing like it is.
All right, so they're a plus 360 underdog, Marcelino. So I'm assuming, maybe I shouldn't assume, but I'm assuming if they win, they qualify. If that's the case, if it ends up in a tie, as we all know soccer matches can be, who gets to qualify?
They go immediately into extra time. So they have 30 more minutes. There has to be a winner on this game to move on to the quarterfinals.
Okay.
And so my prediction is that they will be tied on the half, and Monterrey will take the win within the 90 minutes. This is going to be a decisive match. Seeing a lot of matches going to extra time, which throws everything out the door. Another factor that we need to be paying attention to is any possible weather delays, because this has changed the games. Normally in the United States, as soon as there's thunder, they stop the games for 30 minutes. In soccer, if you stop a game for 30 minutes when there's only 5 minutes left in the clock and they come back, anything can happen. There can be goals in 10, 30 seconds. So it's very exciting to be watching the developments. This is a volatile situation, but my money is with Monterrey that they score, and I think that they're going to cover the over, and I will go with over 2 goals for sure.
Oh, I love it. So if we're going with Monterrey here, are we looking at anytime goal scorers or for one or more shots on target? Where are we going to go with some player props?
Bertarame from Monterrey is the one that you want to be looking at. He's a very skilled offensive player. I will give him at least 2 assists and a goal. We
lost Marcelino's audio there, so hopefully we can come back with him for a second. We just lost him. So he likes Monterrey. I tell you, I like the guy already, Joe. First time we've talked to him. But, anytime that someone comes on and gives us a plus 360 underdog, that he's okay in my book. What do you think? Should we bet the soccer, the underdog and the over? In the over, he gave us a parlay. He's really pushing the envelope there. I really like him.
Yeah, the underdog and the over and Bertarame to come out and get that anytime goals coming in at plus 230. So I love where he's going there for one or more shots on target for Bertarame. It's coming in at minus 180. So maybe you could look at the 2 or more shots for him. We'll see what he likes when we get his audio back here. So I'm excited. A plus 360
I tell you what,
shot, I'm in.
yeah. As I said, you could put those in. You're right. You can put them in a parlay. And we got it at plus 603. That's even without the over. I'm looking for the over 2.5 goals. Where is that bet? Let's see. Player to score, correct score, both teams to score. Oh, there you go. Over 2.5. All right, there we go. So it's that parlay would pay a nice $878. We got Marcelino back again. Marcelino, we just put your parlay in with the goal score, the over, and the underdog, and it's paying a nice fat almost 9-1. We like you, brother. We like those kind of winning bets.
I'm telling you, this is a big, big opportunity to make money. It's going to make your game so much more exciting to watch. And we are heading into the most exciting part of the tournament, the final 8. And what we're going to see in the upcoming days is going to be high voltage, high quality soccer. I expect them to have less goals that we've been seeing, so maybe we are not betting on the over for the goal total, but I feel there's a lot of money to be made in the upcoming days and all the way to the big final in July 14. And if you guys want to learn more about soccer, come every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on Latin Nation Football Club right here on SportsGrid.
There you go. Give us we only got about 30 seconds. Ultimately, and we won't hold you to this because it's a little bit ways away. Who's winning the World Cup? USA have any chance?
Oh, this tournament, I think that Bayern Munich, but the big World Cup in the next year, I think that the biggest favorite is still Argentina to win the World Cup.
Argentina. All right, we got to get some futures on that before the odds drop down there. Marcelino, great job again. Where can they watch you all the time here on SportsGrid? Say that again.
Every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific on Latin Nation Football Club.
There you go. Great job, Marcelino. Do appreciate it. Marcelino Ortiz. Follow him on Twitter. WhatJMO. Thanks, Marcelino.
Thank you, guys.
Kalshi has been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like, Ohtani, just by himself at the plate, is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say, keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he could be the MVP now. Oh, no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just pitched 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Like, don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Hour number one. Thanks again to Marcelino Ortiz, host of Latin Nation FC, soccer guy. Follow him on Twitter at WhatJMOThinks. At WhatJMOThinks. So thanks to Marcelino. Maybe we'll have him on again as we get closer and closer to World Cup action. In the meantime, just to recap yesterday, oh, by the way, our SGP with the Seattle Mariners, Seattle, the over, Cal Raleigh a home run, Cal Raleigh 2 RBIs, cha-ching, cha-ching, there you see it, a winner, Joe. Nice little 7 and change, almost 7.5 to 1. Always nice to see those things come in, so pat myself on the back there, and thank you very much, we were able to cash. So, but as we all know in gambling, that was yesterday, that was a million years ago. What are we going to do tonight? Little SGP, same game parlay time. All right, I'll go first here since I had a winner last night, and we're on a roll. So I'm going to go right back to the well, right back to Seattle, Kansas City. Joe, they're going to change our bets a little bit, but ultimately I still like the Mariners. They're now 10-1. Their last 11 at home against Kansas City. Kansas City now, 1-8? Their last 9 games. They can't hit their way out of a paper bag. So let's go with Seattle. I'll take them laying a run and a half. I'm going to get a little greedy. That's what I like to do. I like to go conservative on Mondays, maybe even Tuesdays, get a winner, then play with house money the rest of the week and take some chances. So, like, Kansas City's just bad. Oh, God, I watched a lot of that game. Man, they are just awful. So give me Seattle laying the run and a half. Got to go with Julio Rodriguez tonight, not Cal Raleigh. Why Rodriguez? The dude is hitting .456. You heard that right. In 16 games against Kansas City, he's hitting .456. 31 hits, 3 homers, 19 RBIs, and 13 runs scored. So, with that knowledge, Rodriguez a hit, -270. Rodriguez 2 bases, +205 or +105. Rodriguez an RBI, +175. And then we're going to go with Emerson Hancock, the pitcher for Seattle, over 3.5 strikeouts against a bad hitting Kansas City team. Add it all up, and it's going to be almost 8-1 +788. Joe, what do you think? And what do you have tonight?
Wow, that's great value on that one. I loved Hancock to his over as well. And Seattle's got all the momentum. I could not rely on the Kansas City Royals to get anything done. So I think you're going a great way with that parlay. I'm going to tail you for sure, Scott, because I tailed you last night and you made me money. My parlay was not able to get there. But fingers crossed tonight, I'm looking at the Chicago White Sox versus the LA Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers are a huge favorite in this one. So we've got to find a way to bet this and get some plus money. I end up coming up with a 4-legger. It pays +669 here. It's going to isolate the White Sox team total for us. Now, outside of the parlay, they do have a normal team total of 2.5. It's plus money to the under. I bumped it up, fired it up to under 3.5 runs here for the White Sox. I just didn't want to mess around with that extra run. I wanted to get a better number in here. We look at Yamamoto coming out for the Dodgers, and I really do think he's going to limit the bats, and I do think the bullpen will be able to limit the bats of the Chicago White Sox as well. So the first leg of the parlay will be the ulted line, the under 3.5 runs for the Chicago White Sox coming in at -188. And then it's all about the players here for the Dodgers that I think are going to have an impact here. Now, Max Muncy coming into this has hit in the last 6 games, and I do think he'll record a hit today. It's juicy. It's -175. I threw it into the parlay because it bumped it up basically by 200. I'll look at Freddie Freeman here to record a run. His parents are Canadian. So we say he's Canadian. He's not 100% Canadian born in the U.S., but it is Canada Day. I think he'll get that run for his parents' home country. And then Ohtani to record RBI here for him coming in at -110. So it's 669. You got the White Sox under 3.5 runs. You got Ohtani for the RBI, Freddie Freeman to record a run at -120, and Max Muncy to record a hit -175. Scott.
All right, just a quick question. With all these guys for the Dodgers, you didn't want to throw the Dodgers just win the game -350. I know -350 wouldn't have bumped it up that much, but it would have bumped it up. You didn't want to take that risk?
You know what was weird? So I put it in and it was plus 666. And I don't know why. I don't know why it was even spitting
Ooh.
out that number. It should have given me better value. So I took it out right away, Scott. And then it was plus 669. So I was like, okay, I can bet
Yes.
that number. So it was
You know what,
very
Joe?
weird.
You're not crazy. I've done that too many times. It's the weirdest thing. You would think adding on a piece, no matter how big the odds were, would help you out a little bit, but I've done the same thing where they've actually lowered the odds. It's crazy. Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, with some baseball plays, WNBA when we come back.
Kalshi has been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like, Ohtani, just by himself at the plate, is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say, keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he could be the MVP now. Oh, no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just pitched 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen. I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Like, don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe midway through hour number 1. Time for a little baseball, a little WNBA Commissioner's Cup Championship minus Caitlin Clark. Unfortunately, still a decent little line on that game with Minnesota laying only 4.5 for some reason. So let's talk a little baseball, little baskets with our good buddy Jeff Dawson. EastCoastSportsInvestors.com, the place to go for all his plays. His website, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. What's going on, Jeff? How are you tonight, bud?
I'm doing great. Happy Canada Day. George Springer, Yukon Husky. Big day for the Jays. The red hot Jays. OMG, Joe. I wish the Red Sox were as hot as your Jays, but hey, it is what it is. We're in, I think, a rain delay or something right now, but it's okay.
Yeah, the Blue Jays have been hot. So have the Miami Marlins, and it looks like they're going to take another win, up 1-0 over the Minnesota Twins. It is the bottom of the 8th right now, so not a lot of value to jump into this game. But did you expect them to be able to come out and get a win today?
Joe Ryan Day, almost like when Paul Skeens pitches, Minnesota has a hard time scoring for Joe Ryan. He usually keeps them in those games, but the offense, and Minnesota's been leaking some oil of late. So not surprised, 1-0 low-scoring game. More surprised that they didn't scratch one run on against Cabrera here. Still time in the 9th, but I wouldn't hold my breath there. It looks like the Marlins could be in for another victory here.
All right, not much hitting going on in Atlanta and LA Angels. I know you had a play on this one, Jeff.
Yeah, I was looking at the first five. I was looking maybe minus the hook. I wanted to get in there. It looked like on paper this was going to be the first one to five here easily. I have the Braves team total over 5.5. We got plus 110 here. A couple early hits, just no clutch hitting on either side here. Kind of would like the Angels to get out in front and maybe scratch a couple across. Still time here, but looking a little bleak for our over 5.5 right now.
Oh, for sure. But there's lots of time left in that game. What about the matchup between the Cleveland Guardians and the Chicago Cubs? Cubs already up 3-0 in this one. Now a huge favorite. That total is sitting 9.5.
Yeah, we got in first five here minus the hook, minus 122. Really like the pitch and edge here for the first five. Hope that they'd scratch a few runs across. They put up a field goal already here, so wouldn't mind a run or two more just for a little safety here. But I like where we started here, up 3-0 in the second. Hopefully we get a strong outing here on the pitching side here, but I like where the bats are, Joe.
All right, next game, we got Colorado and the Houston Astros, Jeff. And both Joe and I are kind of scratching our heads. Houston's playing great, and obviously the Rockies are the Rockies, right? The line is down. It was minus 160 earlier today. It's down to minus 144. This guy Gordon pitching for the Astros, he's not Framber Valdez, but he's actually, at least halfway decent. Well, why is this line Noka Pena? Is that it? But they know that. Why is this only minus 144? What do you like in this game?
Well, I took the 6.5 when the road team totals are 6.5 or 7.5. It's almost like an automatic auto play here because they're usually big favorites. And overnight, as you said, they were minus 170 overnight, and currently right now minus 137. And you know what, guys? I think it's almost this Jedi mind trick here because the early games are going, not a lot of scoring. You might be losing in a few games. So you look at it and, your first inclination is to go to the Astros here, but the line keeps dropping. So now you're saying to yourself, hey, maybe I got to follow the steam here. I got to follow the public. And that's how they get Rocky money here. But we have Houston team total over 6.5. Need a touchdown, need an extra point here. If they get the 2-point conversion, it's a bonus for us. That's all.
I definitely feel comfortable putting my money there. I tell you, that line going in, it just looked so odd. But what about the Giants versus the Diamondbacks? Total of 9 in this one. We got the Diamondbacks a favorite. Is this another weird line?
Both teams leaking oil here, guys. This was the wild, wild west when this season started. Dodgers 8-0, Padres 9-0. Then the Giants had a run. The Diamondbacks had a run. Diamondbacks now 500. San Francisco can't score. It doesn't matter if it's Ray, Logan Webb. They just can't score. So I'm looking at this game. Gallen has just been a shell of himself. Birdsong has struggled. I could have taken the Giants here plus 115, but I looked at it, guys, and I said to myself, you know what? Let's get some runs in this. So I have the San Francisco Giants team total over 4.5 plus 105. Hey, if it's 4-4, 5-5, I can switch over to another game. It doesn't matter anymore. But I think someone's getting at least 5 here tonight, and I'm hoping it's the Giants.
All right. Anything else baseball-wise? I know those are your main plays, but anything else baseball-wise before we get to WNBA that you like?
I had a rain out. I had the Detroit Tigers team total over early today. There was a rain out in that one. And, the Dodgers, you guys were talking about it while I was backstage here. I mean, Yamamoto, it's an 8.5, minus 316. Can't get in the first 5 because they won't allow you. I mean, even minus a half. Most of them have it minus 1 full run there. 8.5. Dodger team totals 5.5. It's almost like they're baiting you. You can get plus money on the Dodgers or even money for them to get to 6 or better. I'm going to say this game stays under. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a 5-1, 5-2, something like that.
Yeah, I could definitely see that one playing out that way. Turning to the WNBA right now, the Fever are down versus the Minnesota Lynx. The Lynx leading this one 27-23. Did you have any action in this, or are you looking further down the board?
No, I was looking at this. Obviously, Caitlin Clark being out kind of stings and takes away from it here. I saw an overnight number of 4.5, and then this afternoon there was some 10.5, some 11s, which was a red flag to me. Obviously, Caitlin wasn't going to play. I got bit earlier on the weekend on this one where Paige Beckers was out for Dallas, and I followed the other side, and it was boxed to wire. So I said, no banana in the tailpipe here. I did like Minnesota, but I'm not laying the 10, 10.5, or 11, Joe.
And that game that Dallas ended up winning. Anyway, I had the over in that game, right? and then they ended up winning the game without her. It's just amazing. It's funny how gambling is. All right, Jeff, you're a good baseball guy. So I want a little pop quiz, and then I'll tell you the answer. The Miami Marlins are 37-45 right now, right? So what do you think their rest of the season? They played 82 games, so they got half their games. What do you think FanDuel has their over/under second half of the season, for the entire season?
So they have 37
8 games
wins.
under.
Okay, they have 37 wins. You're telling me they have 80 games left. So 40 and 40, 35. I bet you they have them 5 games under. And how many wins do they have right now?
37.
So I think they would have an under-over of around 71.5 or 72.
That's what I'm thinking, right? You know what the number is? 66.5. They have
I'll tell you,
30-50, Jeff. 30-50 they would have to go.
There's one big reason there that they're under the assumption that Alcantara is going to get traded before the deadline. And so there's one arm. Not that he's been pitching great, but there's a guy that can at least kind of sort of give you an opportunity for a win. Perez is back. I mean, they have some arms, but as the dog days of summer begin, they're going to struggle really to get those innings in the late August, September, when everyone's watching football here. And Alcantara could probably end up on the Yankees. Who knows?
Right. Well, I tell you what, though, they could trade the whole team, and Topeka High can go 30-50, right? I mean, I love that play. Jeff, great job. East Coast Sports Investors.com. Thanks.
Kalshi has been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like, Ohtani just by himself at the plate is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say, keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he could be the MVP now. Oh, no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just pitched 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Like, don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Thanks again, Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Scott and Joe, hour number one. Joe, and yeah, this is our pullover on the side of the road bet. Don't wait till you get to where you're going if you're listening to us or watching us on TV. And if you're watching TV and driving, you really shouldn't, but okay. I don't see, Joe. Listen, I know it's the Miami Marlins, and I know they're playing good, and they're not going to play this good. I get that. But bottom line is they're only 8 games under 500 heading into tonight, and they're winning tonight. But the line I saw was 66.5. So they would have to go 30-50 the second half of the season in order to get to their, obviously, 67 wins. I don't know how this team, even when it's not playing well, is still capable of going 30-50. This is not the Colorado Rockies or even the Chicago White Sox from last year. I mean, they're better than that. They're a last-place team or next to last place team, depending on what Washington does. But they're not going to go 30-50. And I'm buying into where they're playing. They're right. Even if they trade Alcantara, who's actually pitched well in June. He's turned things around a little bit. Maybe they do trade him, but they're still going to have him for another month. They're still going to get maybe 10 to 12 wins in the month of July. I'm counting on. I mean, like I said, I've never seen a team be 8 games under 500 and then be 21 games under the total, which is what it would have to be in order for you to lose your bet. I love that bet. I know it's Miami. They can lose interest in the month of September when everything else is going on. But, man, I really do like that bet a lot.
I think it's a fantastic bet, Scott. I just don't see them going under that number, and I really do think they can continue strong here. Now, we know they're going to have their lapses, as all teams do, over a couple series, couple of weeks. But even if they do have, a stretch where they go completely cold, I still think they're able to pass that number. So I'd be on the over as well. Definitely pull over your car and get that bet in now before that line moves.
Yeah. 2-0 Miami leads tonight, top of the 9th inning. There's going to be one more win on their bedpost. And you know what it is, Joe? I think a lot of it is it's the Miami Marlins. It's not the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Phillies or Red Sox or some public team, right? Who the heck's looking for the Miami Marlins over under? Nobody. Whatever. Put a number up there. No one's betting it. Dope on SportsGrid will bet it. Who cares? But it's actually a great line. It's, it pays off just as much in green money as, betting Notre Dame, as we always say, versus Topeka High. The same money is, you got to win on an over Dodger bet as you're going to win on the over Marlins. So, yeah, I like that one. So 2-0 Miami. Hopefully they can close it out because I do have that bet. No score. I'm very surprised at this, Joe. No score. Pittsburgh and the St. Louis Cardinals. And listen, the Cardinal bats have been great, right? I mean, 37 runs in their last 4 games. And they've only given up 4 runs in their last 4 games. So they've outscored their opponents 37-4. But I just figured with Skeens pitching, as great as the Pirate pitching staff has been over the last 4 games, I just figured this would be the game where he'd give up a ton of runs. Right? All the other, losers on the team pitch great. And now the one guy you expect to pitch great doesn't. But you know what? No runs. Top of the 8th inning. No score. Pittsburgh and St. Louis. How about that? Lines are locked right now.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised we haven't got something out of either of these teams. We know Pittsburgh was the favorite coming in. They were right around that minus 160 mark, Scott. We had a total of 7.5. We have a live total of 1.5, minus 132 to the over. If I had to go anyway with that, I would think to go over the 130 or the over 1.5, minus 132. Right now, St. Louis does have a runner out on first base, but we do have 2 outs. So we'll see if they're able to do any damage here. I doubt they are, but the thought of extra innings is right there, Scott. So I couldn't take it under.
Yeah. Skeens, by the way, went 5 innings today. Only 5, struck out 5, so he didn't hit his strikeout total. They yanked him after 88 pitches only for some reason. So, A's in athletics, A's in Tampa Bay Rays, 3-2. Bottom of the sixth inning. A's minus 225 favorite. I can't do that. I'd take a flyer bottom of the sixth with Tampa Bay getting plus 172. I don't mind that. Three at bats left. It says they got a runner on third base. With it's hard to tell how many outs they have. 2 outs. I think they're probably headed to the top of the seventh, to tell you the truth. But either way, you still got 3 at bats, only down a run against the A's. That's worth a crack to me.
Oh, it definitely is. So going into this one, though, I did take a shot on the A's because of Jeffrey Springs getting the start. I've liked what we've seen out of him, Scott. So I came in on the A's at like plus 146. Right now, with the Tampa Bay Rays down a run, and this is what I was hoping to do. I'm in a perfect hedging situation. Putting a little bit of money on the Tampa Bay Rays at plus 172 just makes sense for me because I really didn't have a ton of faith in the A's, especially once it got this deep into the game. But I thought Jeffrey Springs could come out nice and strong, at least as long as he's in it, and kind of limit the bats here of the Tampa Bay Rays. So glad to see the position it's in right now, and I'm also glad to jump on a hedging position with the Rays at plus 172. I think it's a nice way to go.
All right. I like it too. I do. Braves and Angels scoreless. Bottom of the fifth inning. Says the Braves have 2 on, 2 out, but I don't know about that. But either way, I like the Angels coming in. It was more an anti-Braves bet, Joe. They were close to 2-1 favorites. It's like I am not laying 2-1 with this Atlanta Braves team. They just can't hit. Can't. So I'll take a flyer. If you didn't take it already, I'd take a flyer still on the Angels. A little bit less money now, plus 125 or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I looked at the under 9.5 going into this because of what you just said. The Atlanta Braves can't hit. And I looked at the line and was like, okay, how many runs are we going to get out of the Angels? Even if we get 6 runs out of the Angels, 2 out of the Braves, that still puts us under the 9.5. So the under has moved to 4.5. I'm not sure I'd do the under 4.5 just because of the juice right now on the books at minus 144. And, I think this could be that 3-2 style game when it all plays out at the end of the day, Scott. So I think we've missed the best of the number. It just moved to 3.5, plus 102 to the under. Minus 136 to the over. That's a scary number.
Yeah, that's well, they do a pretty good job of giving you a number where it's just hard to go either way. You think there would be like one side, right? But it's like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. It's you're allowed to not make a bet on a game. Believe it or not, you can. Black Cloud play of the day coming up next.
Been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like, Ohtani just by himself at the plate is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, he gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he could be the MVP now. Oh no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just it's 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Like, don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe, hour number 1, closing it out. Final segment. You know what we do. Time for our best play of the day, our Black Cloud play of the day. All right, Joe, we first off hit last night, cha-ching, cha-ching, with our Black Cloud, which is always a beautiful thing. So we are now, as I check my records, 51 up, 27 down. Oh, yes. 24 games over 500, just as I thought, and we got fortunate, but George Kirby only went 6 innings. He was yanked. He was pitching great. There were only 85 pitches, and I'm thinking, we're going to lose this thing because the Royals stink, and this is where the managers take over. For whatever reason, they decide, all right, you've had it up. They pulled him after 6. The line was 18 and a half. We went under, and he only pitched 18 out. So we win with that one, George Kirby, little minus 150. So off to a good start this week. Where are we going to go tonight, you ask? You know, not that many games, obviously, to choose from, but I did have a bunch of ones. I thought about going right back to Seattle. I was going to go with the over with their pitcher because, man, watching that game last night, this Royals team really is bad. But it was 15 and change. I didn't know if they were really going to go 6 innings. I'm going to kick myself if they don't. So settled in on the Dodger game, Joe. Not going to lay 350. Not even going to lay a run and a half, believe it or not, because I looked it up, and the White Sox actually are pretty darn good on the run line. They're one of the best, believe it or not, in baseball. They got a gazillion losses, but they don't lose by 2 runs or more. White Sox this season on the run line, you know, getting a run and a half, are, survey says, where is it? They are 48 and 36. I mean, that's a pretty good record. And the Dodgers are only 40 and 45. So I didn't go there. I'm going to go with a rarity. Going to go with, if you go all the way down the line, go to innings, and then scroll all the way down the innings icon on FanDuel. They offer you a bet which team will have the highest scoring inning. And they really reduce the odds quite a bit. And that's where we're going to go. You're going to take a minus 350 favorite, the Dodgers, and you're going to drop it basically in half to minus 175, 176. Dodgers to have the highest scoring inning between the two teams. I mean, if they win, chances are they're going to put a 3 or 4 spot on the board somewhere along the line. The White Sox pitcher, Shane Smith, he stinks. He's a rookie pitcher, rocked in his last 2 starts. He's given up 11 runs in 5 walks in just 7 1/3 innings his last 2 starts. Now he's got to go out to Chavez Ravine and face the red-hot Dodgers. You know the Dodgers are good for a 4-run inning, 5 maybe. So give me the Dodgers, Joe. Long story short, Black Cloud play of the day. Highest scoring inning, minus 176.
Oh, I like that, Scott. They're definitely going to come out here and be able to get the runs on Shane Smith. And I just don't see the Chicago White Sox being able to answer back to the point where they can have an inning where they can outscore the Dodgers in any of theirs. So I really like it. Is there an opportunity with those inning bets to also bet the exact inning that they're going to score the most runs at all?
No. That's not a bad idea, though. There you go, FanDuel. How about that? Pick the exact inning. I like that. You know what? That's not a bad, pick the exact half inning. Or even if you just did it combined, the two teams. Which inning will have the most runs scored? That's not a bad idea, Joe. Yeah.
I would like that because you look at where in the order you think those guys are going to be hitting. Normally the top of the order is so strong, so maybe the second time round against the batter or against the pitcher, that could be a fun bet, definitely to look into.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Rockies ahead of the Astros already, 1-0. By the way, bottom of the first inning, still batting. Long ways to go, but yeah,
so
it does.
Weird, right?
Yeah. Why did it drop? It's one thing for it to open up, bad, but it didn't. It opened up a normal line and then it lowered. Yeah. I'll have to check in the next break. I'll check the roster, see who's not playing. Maybe someone's not playing. They got wins. Someone's not playing for the Houston Astros. But just a 1-0. It's actually not a bad, if you don't buy into all that mumbo jumbo, you get the Astros at even money right now. Joe, want to double down on them or no?
Ooh, I like them at even money, right? Like maybe plus 100. Sure, let's go.
Yeah.
Houston's a better team.
Yeah. One last one. Why not, right? Might as well. If you're going to buy in, you might as well buy in full way.
Yeah.
So keep your fingers crossed on that one. Guardians scored a couple of runs. 3-2. They trail now the Cubs 3-2. It's still no score heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. Atlanta and the LA Angels over under 3.5. Mark Zeno coming up next. Get some baseball talk with him.
Kalshi has been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like Ohtani, just by himself at the plate, is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, he gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he could be the MVP now. Oh no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just pitched 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back. It is In-Game Live, Game Day here on the grid on a terrific Tuesday. Scott Wetzel, Joe Madden in for Dave Sharepan tonight. As we've got a little baseball, a little WNBA. We got our soccer match in which we got the underdog, Monterrey, plus 360. As Marcelina Ortiz gave us that little winner. Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed earlier in the program. Let's get some baseball winners from our good buddy, SportsGrid Radio TV host you've seen here all the time here on the grid, Mark Zeno. What's going on, Mark? How are you tonight, bud?
Well, you said winners. Apparently, I didn't pay attention to the fact that the Miami Marlins have won the 2025 World Series because I bet a bundle tonight on Joe Ryan and the Minnesota Twins to watch him pitch a freaking gem through 7 innings and the Minnesota Twins to get 2 hits the whole game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable that they weren't able to get the win in that one and that Miami continues to roll hot. Are they going to be a team that you're going to keep stepping in front of, or are you just going to stay off it until you work out what the Miami Marlins are doing?
I mean, look, the Marlins hit a total of 5 home runs in the month of June at home. They hit one tonight. A second one was called back, actually, in the 8th inning. But, it just, statistical anomalies all over the place. Eduardo Cabrera had his longest outing of the year. He only went past 6 innings once this entire season. Tonight, he went 7 innings and gave up 2 hits. I mean, baseball, sometimes it's incredibly tough to figure out. The Marlins aren't going to score at home. I'll probably come back with them tomorrow night to score under their team total because clearly you cannot trust this Twins offense. I knew it was going to be a struggle. I knew it was going to be a low-scoring game. I get very antsy when I see the 7.5 and probably should have just played that or a first 5 under. But nonetheless, hindsight 2020, I don't think the handicap was wrong in the way I wrote it up and the way what I looked at. I just didn't expect Eduardo Cabrera to be equally as good and the Twins offense to be god-awful pitiful.
Same thing with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, you got 2 of the worst teams in baseball, and they're playing out of their minds. Pirates leading 1-0, bottom of the 8th inning. They've outscored their last 4 games. We all know what happened with the Mets. First game of the Cardinal series as well. They've given up 4 runs. I forget about the offense. Offense comes and goes, the weather, blah, blah, blah. I'm more like shocked with the pitching. 4 runs they've given up in 5 games now. That's just mind-boggling, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're working on their what would be well, put it this way. It's not even the Cardinals now are going to get shut out if they can't score a run. They're going to get shut out in 4 of their last 5 games. I mean, the bats have just like I ask pros, former pros all the time, like, what is happening with offense in Major League Baseball this year? I mean, we've seen bad offenses before, but some of these offenses look like little leaguers, man. Like they literally have nothing going on the entire game. Like every team almost seems feast or famine. They're scoring 6 or 7 runs, or they can't push more than 2 across in any given game. And it's head scratching. It's hard to figure out when they're going to hit the ball and when they're not. So, you just kind of got to keep grinding away at this thing. But at this point, I feel like I'm pot committed to stay in front of the Marlins, who have won 8 straight. Their longest winning streak, I think, since 2007 when they won 9 straight. So, there are so many things going against Miami tonight. And again, a world-class pitcher in Joe Ryan, the one Twins pitcher that you want to back on a regular basis. He did everything he was supposed to do. But, I mean, the Twins offense just didn't show up.
Mark, as you talk about teams that have struggled in some games to get those runs, in other games they've been able to put them up, you've got to look at the Houston Astros here versus the Colorado Rockies. Now, this game just did tie up. It's 1-1 apiece. We're going into the bottom of the second. A live total of 11.5 in this. What are you thinking? Where did you go with your bets in this one?
I played the under for the full game at 11.5. I know it peaked at 12 at one point earlier today, but I just didn't see a Rockies team that was going to score a whole lot of runs against an Astros team that doesn't score a lot. I know Chase Dollander for Colorado is not a very good starting pitcher. In fact, his ERA at home this year is 8.5, which brought a little bit of risk in it. But even if the Astros did go off, my feeling was kind of like Colorado's not going to score 4 runs in this game. And so even if they don't, even if Houston scores 7, we're still in a good spot here at 11.5. Felt like the number was a little too high given these 2 offenses.
How about Seattle and Kansas City going at it again? Mariners winning last night. They're going to make it 2 in a row.
Yeah, this is my other big bet of the night. I know the Mariners struggle to score runs at home, just averaging 4.1 per season, but Michael Lorenzen isn't the world's greatest starter either. A 5.68 road ERA, just 2-5 straight up in his last 10 road starts, 0-5 straight up when an underdog of plus 130 or less. He's 60th out of 71 qualifying pitchers in fielded independent pitching or FIP. And this Mariners lineup has a career OPS of 949 against him. So Seattle gives the ball to Emerson Hancock. This is a guy I've been high on over the last month, short of one blow-up start against the Cubs in Chicago, which I can understand. He's allowed 2 runs or less in his other 5 starts dating back to May 29th. Kansas City, one of the lowest scoring teams in baseball. They scored the 6th fewest runs on the road this year. Seattle bullpen, one of the better ones in the big. So I think the Mariners get it done here tonight.
Now, if the Mariners get it done, I just want to ask, do you have any props in this one? Any home runs, RBIs for any of these players for Seattle?
The one I looked at was Cal Raleigh to hit a home run. I know it's not a very high one, but Raleigh's already gone deep off Lorenzen, and he's the guy who's most likely to do it. I know Raleigh doesn't hit as many home runs at home because Seattle doesn't score as much at home as they do on the road, but that would be the guy I'd look at in the home run market.
And I love betting on guys that hit home runs the day before. These home run hitters to a T, Mark, are just streak hitters. You'll see, 4, 5, 6 games, and then you'll see 4 or 5 when you look at their game log of like, okay, the guy hit 4 home runs in 5 days. So even though he hit one last night. I agree. I would be right on that one. Dodgers are a monster figure tonight, right? Minus 350, even later 1.5.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Shane Smith is one of the better starters on the White Sox. He's got a 2.55 ERA on the road this year. I know it's a Dodgers lineup. I saw some 2.5s floating out there. I would take the White Sox plus 2.5. Or if you get a 1.5 in the first 5, that'd probably be the way I go. You get the White Sox bullpen out of the equation because I think Shane Smith can hold these guys down here for 5 innings. He's one of the most reliable starters on that staff outside of Adrian Hauser, who's just showed up recently and been really good for the White Sox. But I kind of like Chase Smith here to keep the Dodgers at bay for a couple of innings. Look, and even if he only gives up a run or two, I feel like the White Sox can push one across against Yamamoto.
They're 48 and 36 mark on the run line, by the way, the White Sox. 48 and 36. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, because they're not as bad as people expect. Like the White Sox are one of those underpriced teams all year long. Conversely, you get a Braves team that's continually overpriced. Like even look at tonight, it's a 0-0 game. Like there's no way the Braves should be a 2-1 favorite against anybody in baseball right now. They are just not. The power ratings that bookmakers are using are off. They're still rating this Braves team like they're supposed to be good. And in reality, look, they're 7 games below 500. And I can understand why they are to a certain extent. They're 7 games below 500. They started 0-7. Odds makers will remove that 0-7 and go, this is a 500 team going up against an Angels team that's playing above their heads, that's hanging around 500, that has some of the worst starting pitchers in all of baseball, including Tyler Anderson, who goes. But this is not a Braves lineup that you can trust in any size, way, shape, or form. Outside of Acuna and really, Riley and a little bit of Olsen, who's been hot as of late, there's nobody in this lineup you can trust to hit the ball.
Yeah, they really can. It's amazing. And I watched a lot. Sometimes you watch highlights and stuff. You get a feel for teams. But I watched like full games against the Mets when they were in town last week. You look at the lineup, it's just like they can't hit. They just can't hit unless they're given runs. It's amazing. So, Mark, great job, man. Do appreciate a couple of minutes. You see and hear him all the time here on the grid. Mark Zitto. Thanks, Mark. We'll do it again soon.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups. My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Joe. Thanks again, Mark Zitto, SportsGrid Radio TV host you see it here all the time here on the Grid. So a little baseball, a little WNBA. Got an upset brewing here, Joe. It actually gives a pretty good betting opportunity. No Caitlin Clark for Indiana. It's the Commissioner's Cup, the championship, the mid-season tournament that they have now in the NBA and WNBA. So Indiana, I heard Jeff say that the line was 4.5, and then realized that Caitlin wasn't playing today, so it bumped up. He said to 9.5, 10.5. But they are actually leading Indiana, 40-34, very low-scoring game. They're in the third quarter already, believe it or not. So you're getting Minnesota at Pick'em. I think they come back and win. You're talking about a team that was an 11-point favorite. And here's where I'm going to strategize on this, Joe. I don't know if they win or not, but I'm thinking they're going to make a comeback. They're only down 6. If they get back to, even, then they're going to become a solid 7-point favorite again because they were, 10.5, 11, or whatever it was to start the game. So it's not going to take much for Minnesota to be the favorite. So if I can grab them and pick them now, maybe get them or get Indiana plus, my goal will be +6. And get a 6-point middle in a low-scoring game, and maybe get a double winner with everything is said and done. What do you think?
I think it's a great way to attack it. The books are just moving these lines so quickly out there, Scott. I'm seeing Minnesota right now at -138, down by those 6 points. Indiana's coming in at +108. So they're not giving you much of a discount here on that original line for Minnesota, even though they're down by 6. It's too bad to see.
Yeah, I put it in a second ago. It was, what did I get? I think I got it at -114. So it's still pick 'em, but it's a lot more, at least a little bit more anyway. At -138. Yeah, I got it at, where is it here? 5,000 bets. I got it at, -12, -112. So I really got it basically at pick 'em. So it's up a little bit. So yeah, I would still do it even at -138. It's not going to take much. Like I said, you got the whole second half, basically. So I'm sure Minnesota's only a 6-point deficit. And, get them now and pick them. Is the timeout in the court? So, there's going to be a chance for Minnesota. They probably called the timeout, I'm guessing, to rally a little bit after that timeout. So I do like that. So keep that nice on the back burner. Yeah. How's our soccer play doing? We're underway. We got Dortmund's leading Monterrey 1-0 already.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Scratch Marcelina from our guest list. That's it.
No, Monterrey still can come back. They're +430 now on that money, or no, +850 now on that money line. I was looking at that tie number, +800. So I think they can come back, Scott.
You know what? We got the over as well. He said 2.5. I actually put it in at over 1.5. So. But, his play was over 2.5, so we needed to have Dortmund score at least one goal, right? It wasn't going to be 3-0 Monterrey. So this is the one goal. So nice little 2-1 Monterrey final, and we'll be okay with that. So, but it is 8-1 now. If you really think that, put a little hedge on the 440 maybe, as they have a tie every once in a while. All right, we've got a couple games here starting in a little bit, Joe. Let's rattle them down here. We'll start with Kansas City and Seattle. Seattle -138. We talked a little bit about it. Kansas City +118. Over-under is 8 after being 8.5 yesterday. Royals now 1-10 their last 11 at Seattle. So Seattle has owned this series. KC, a monster under team. 51-33-1. They're the number 2 under team behind Texas in all of baseball. Seattle, decent over team. Last night's game went over. 8 games, attracted 12 games. 12 more overs than unders for Seattle. You got Cal Raleigh hitting a home run last night, leads the majors now with 33. And I like Seattle. This Kansas City team, they're not playing well. They're 1-8 their last 9 games, and they've scored 11 runs in those 8 losses. I mean, they are just having a very tough time scoring. So I like Seattle, and I laid the 1.5 in my SGP with Seattle.
I like where you're going. I like Seattle as well. I think they're able to get it done. They've got the momentum. They're at home. I'm also going to look at the Kansas City Royals team total. That number coming in at 3.5, Scott, they're just not scoring. Under 3.5 coming in at plus 102. I don't see them getting 4 runs in this game. I think that they will struggle here versus Hancock, and I do trust the bullpen of the Seattle Mariners. So give me the Royals under 3.5 runs at plus 102 and the Seattle Mariners to get it done. And you're right. I would even look at the run line for the Seattle Mariners, laying the 1.5, getting that great plus money with them.
All right. Arizona starting here in about 20 minutes. Surprised at this line, hosting a struggling San Francisco team. Gallen versus Birdsong, your pitching matchup. Arizona minus 130. San Fran plus 110. Over under is 9. I can't play an under. I know under last night came through, but I can't play an under in an Arizona game with their bullpen. San Fran's had a nice little 23-7 under run, I'll tell you that. But Arizona 8-3, as you see there, their last 11 home games. San Francisco 4-11, their last 15 games overall. They're not playing well. They've scored just 7 runs in the first 4 games of this extended road trip that they're on. They've only got the 1 win, and that was against the White Sox. So give me Arizona minus the 130. Gallen's not pitched well this year. He hasn't. But he's already got, in fact, he has just as many losses now, 9, than he had all of last year, which was only 6, Joe. I mean, he's just 5-9 with an ERA close to 6, 5.75. I don't get it, but I'm going to go with him in Arizona.
And I understand why, Scott, but when I looked at this line, I just went, why? This was another line, just like the Houston Astros versus the Colorado Rockies, where I went, why isn't San Francisco even a pick 'em here? Like, why am I getting them plus 120 coming into this game? I didn't understand it. I haven't had that faith in Zach Gallen. We've seen him have those struggles, going only 5-9 on the season in 17 starts, and I don't trust the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen has an ERA over 5. I took a shot here on the dog, the Giants on the road with Birdsong coming out. I know he can allow those runs too, but I just don't trust the Diamondbacks to get enough runs. So I'll take, especially when the bullpen comes in, I'll take a shot on the dog.
All right. I will tell you, Birdsong, the last 3 outings, he's allowed 14 runs, lasting only 14 in the 3rd innings. But, hey, you never know. Someone's got to win. All right, we'll look at the Dodger game when we come back.
Kalshi has been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like, Ohtani, just by himself at the plate, is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say, keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he could be the MVP now. Oh, no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just pitched 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Like, don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid. Scott and Joe Madden in for Dave Sherapan tonight as we check out some baseball stuff, little WNBA, and of course, little soccer matches. We have the World Cup qualifiers. So left off, Joe, with the White Sox and LA Dodgers. It's a tough one. I mean, it's tough to make a case for the White Sox to win this thing outright. I'll give you the numbers here. Dodgers minus 350 on a money line, even laying a run and a half. It's minus 160 and change. On some sites. Dodgers tied for the best record in baseball. White Sox have the worst record in the American League. Dodgers have beaten the White Sox 11 of their last 13 meetings, including 7-1 their last 8. White Sox have scored 1 run or less in 24 of their 84 games. They're 4-15 their last 19 road games. I mean, it's tough, really, to tell your local Louis DeLip, give me the White Sox. He'll come over and kiss you if you do that, right? So, but you can't lay the run and a half because the White Sox are actually 48-36, 12 games over 500, getting a run and a half this year. Dodgers only 40-45, laying a run and a half this year. So this is not like a couple of years ago when the Dodgers were killing everybody, winning every single game by 2 runs or more. That's not the case. They are 12-4 their last 16. Maybe the over. Dodgers 48, 35-2 over this year, including 13-6 their last 19. Shane Smith, the pitcher for the White Sox, Joe, he's a 25-year-old rookie. So, I'm not saying he's not any good, but right now, he's pitched well overall, but lately, I gave you these numbers before, last 2 starts, 11 runs in 7 1/3 innings over 2 starts. He's got racked quite a bit. So I'm going to, I got the Dodger, the Black Cloud play. Dodger will have the highest scoring inning at minus 175. I can live with that a little bit more than I can laying a run and a half.
Well, yeah, especially when you look at Shane Smith and you talked about over his last 2. And I looked at that last one versus Arizona. Only 2 innings pitched, and in that he gave up 4 hits and 5 earned runs. So I can't trust him to come out here versus a Dodgers lineup that's so much stronger, in my opinion, than the Arizona Diamondbacks lineup. And Yamamoto coming out here for the Dodgers, you think he should be able to silence the bats here of the Chicago White Sox. So I'm looking at a strong performance by the LA Dodgers, but I hear you, Scott. That run line's scary, especially when you start diving into those home run line odds. For the LA Dodgers, they're only 20-24 at home on that run line. So they're not even winning big at home. And the Chicago White Sox out there on the road have gone 23-18 on that run line. So this was the subject of my same game parlay. And I made sure I left the Dodgers out of the equation for that run line bet, but I did look at the hits to come in. I think the Dodgers at the end of the day should be able to get this win and limit the bats here of the Chicago White Sox. So inside the parlay, you guys know that I took the under 3.5 runs, but outside of it, I'm not scared to take the under 2.5 runs here for the Chicago White Sox. I just don't see them getting 3 runs in this game. If you take the under 2.5 runs, it's coming in at plus 102. And yes, this team is averaging 3.2 runs per game over the last 5 games, but the Dodgers have been holding their opponents to under 2.6 runs in their last 5. So I do think the Dodgers will come out nice and strong, be able to limit the Chicago White Sox. I just don't see Chicago getting a ton of runs in this one, Scott.
And we haven't had that many runs tonight. Joe, when you look at the scores, Pirates do win 1-0. Marlins win 2-0. Throw out the Yankees and Blue Jays from this afternoon, because that's a day game. But at night, we got no score still. Angels and Braves in the top of the 8th inning. Red Sox in a rain delay, only 2-1 in the 4th. A's and Rays only 3-3 in the 9th. Now, that may end up being 25-20 with extra innings. But for now, And Texas and the Cubbies are both leading their respective games 3-2. So, under might be the way to go. Different ways you could do it. You could bet on the Dodgers, or you could bet, in essence, against the White Sox. So, not a bad thing with Yamamoto on the hill, who's been, for the most part, very good this season. Our Astros, and they could be our Astros tonight, have taken the lead over the Rockies, Joe. So every once in a while, and they got the bases loaded one out against this Dollander dude, who's a rookie who's just getting lit up this season. That line, sometimes lines are just wrong. There might be some goofy stat or some Mark Zinno trend that we don't know about, or all the hieroglyphics that he comes up with on his picks. God bless him, all the number. I don't know where he gets this stuff from. There might be something that says Colorado tonight, but I'm old school. Just who's the better team, and I'm getting them at a good price. Where do I sign? So Astros lead to 2-1. We'll take a quick break. Hopefully they'll clear the bases and we'll add 3-4 more runs on the board when we come back.
Kalshi has been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like, Ohtani, just by himself at the plate, is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say, keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he could be the MVP now. Oh, no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just pitched 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time, where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scotty, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Like, don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. We got Camp Stewart coming up in about 10 minutes or so. So back to the baseball scoreboard. And we asked for it, Joe, and then, believe it or not, we actually got it. How about an Astros grand slam while we were away? So once down 1-0, even odds. We told you to double down. And now they're up 6-1, Joe. And, I don't want to count my chickens because it is Colorado, but we're looking pretty good on that bet. Colorado or Houston is now minus 1450. Astros minus 5.5 on the run line. If you want to go there, I wouldn't, I wouldn't touch that myself, but not bad. Top of the 3rd inning. Astros up 6-1. So much for that faulty line, right? Sometimes the boys in Vegas just mess up.
Yeah, and that's what I think they did in this one. You could throw so many trends at it and look at the Rockies and look at, different angles. But at the end of the day, Scott, I love the way that you look at things. The Houston Astros just such the better team. And that's why whenever I go into a game, I'm always thinking before I look at the odds the books have where it should be. And then seeing those lines today, everything looked kind of weird. I stayed off of it, then got that live bet in at plus 100 when we were able to get them. And I'm so glad I did because the Houston Astros are the better team. We got them at a great price. And I don't think the Colorado Rockies will be able to come back in this. If you do think the Colorado Rockies will be able to come back, it is plus 750 on the books right now. And that live total of 15.5. So if you think they're going to come back, you probably are going to go over that 15.5. So I would go that route at minus 106 versus taking the Colorado Rockies. But Scott, I'm just happy sitting here with the Astros at plus 100 when we were able to get it. I wouldn't lay the 5.5 with them either right now.
All right. They just froze the game, but I'm hoping they pop it back up there. A's and Tampa Bay Devil Dogs tied at 3, bottom of the 9th inning, and they had an over-under, Joe, of 7.5, and plus odds, too, plus 104. Small odds, but at least it's plus. But they froze it. Now they've come back with a money line. Tampa Bay, they say, has a runner on first base. Nobody out, but they got him listed as minus 330. So something tells me that runner's on at least second base. Tampa Bay wouldn't be a minus 330 favorite runner on first base, even with nobody out. So I was going to suggest bet the over if it goes to extra innings, especially if they're giving us plus odds. But something must be brewing down in Tampa.
Yeah, I definitely think something's brewing. And I'm pretty happy with where I'm sitting right now because coming into this, I had the the A's at plus 146. And then when we were live here, Scott, when the Tampa Bay Rays were down, we were able to get them at plus 172. So I have a nice hedging middle spot there with this one. Everything has locked up, Scott. I'm guessing the Tampa Bay Rays have been able to bring him home because things locked up pretty quick there with Jensen up to bat.
Yeah, something's got to be going on, and maybe maybe it's only a pitching change, but so that's locked up. Well, let's see. So we'll keep you posted on that one. Angels put 3 on the board against the Braves. I tell you what, to me, Mark Zino mentioned this as well. Why the Braves were almost 2-1 favorites, minus 190 and change. Listen, they're just not a good hitting team right now. They're just not. I know the Astros stink, or the Angels rather stink, but it's sometimes you don't make a play on a team. I know it sounds bad, but you make a play against a team. You forget about who they're playing and just say, listen, I know it's dopey. This is the value, which I hate, but the Braves, as you see there, they shouldn't be minus 190 favorites over anybody. What are you kidding me? So 3-0. Angels are now minus 25-1. Braves are 9-1. So they're almost unbettable now, and now it's locked up. But if you bet the Angels, as we suggested before, remember we said if you didn't get them earlier, we still thought plus 140 and change was a pretty good number. So now you're sitting on a potential winner there, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still liking the total to the under. I wrote it the under 9.5. It's now 5.5. Still, you've got to lay that juice though. So the juice was minus 144 the last time we talked about this game at the 5.5. They've only bumped it down a couple. It's minus 136 to the under 5.5 now, Scott. So let that juice keep dropping. I don't want to lay that much on the under. And especially now the Angels got another run on the board. It's 4-0, Scott.
Rays and A's, the runner on first base got caught stealing. So now there's nobody on base. Boy, they made Tampa Bay a minus 330 favorite with just a runner on first base. You'll be nobody out, but still, wow. And now it's locked now, but now there's nothing going on. So we're going to get extra innings. Let's see if FanDuel offers us an over-under on that one. Right now, there it is, Joe, 7.5.
Let's go over.
Probably going to extra innings. You got 6 runs. You need 2 more in extra innings. That to me that's the play for me.
All day long. It's minus 118 to the over 7.5.
Yeah,
I can get
gotta be crazily juiced.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Right?
Sign me up. Yeah, sign me up, Scott. I'm in.
All right. 4-0 Angels, by the way. They scored again. Must have been a solo home run. Jacob deGrom for Texas, they were a monster 190 favorite. A lot of people betting the under, and you said it earlier, Joe. You were a little leery about that because you weren't sure about Young pitching for Baltimore, and lo and behold, it's 5-2 already, bottom of the fifth inning, and the Rangers have runners on base. So that over/under 7 now up to 10.5. This might be one of those games where you're going to get a ton of runs. It's minus 146. Won't do that, but I'll try and find a playing partner to lower that number a bit, because I think you're going to get 11 runs tonight. You just the bases loaded. This thing's probably going to implode.
Yeah, it definitely will. The 10.5 minus 146, like you said, way too high. I don't think this is going to be the game where the Baltimore Orioles fight their way back like we saw over the weekend, Scott. So with everything locked up, I'm sure Texas, they're minus 2,000 now. They're minus 3.5 on that run line at plus 100. Live total, so 9.5. So it looks like just bases are loaded, 2 outs. They haven't brought anyone home yet, but they have every ability to do so. So I would only look at the over 9.5 at minus 138 if you didn't get in on this game prior. The Rangers laying 1.5 prior. Scott, I believe we're plus money, like slight, like plus 115. Right now, you got to lay 2.5 at minus 162. So don't go there yet.
Wow. DeGrom, by the way, his strikeout total, Joe, was 7.5. And he's got 6 already through 5, only 73 pitches. So he's probably good for another inning or two. I don't play over 7.5s too often, and I didn't tonight. But I know you played over 7.5 last night and hit it with Crochet. So did you? I think you did adjusted line 8.5, if memory serves me right, and hit it when he got his 9th strikeout. So did you go DeGrom strikeout total over tonight?
No, I looked at a strikeout total and just decided to leave it alone in this matchup because I was just kind of like, is he going to get there? And I looked at a bunch of different factors for him, and with how dominant he has been out there, I just wanted to look at the Rangers on that run line and just stay off the rest of it. Because I didn't know the Baltimore Orioles have been a kind of funny team for me. We saw them get that comeback win over the weekend, and I just didn't know if DeGrom would go that high. So I stayed off of it. If it was a 6.5, I would have taken it. At the 7.5, I was just like, okay, let's not push our luck.
All right. A couple updates here. Our soccer, Dortmund has scored again. It's now 2-0 Dortmund over Monterrey. It's still in the first half, 40-minute mark. So we're closing in at halftime. We're a little bit of trouble on that one. And then WNBA, the Minnesota Lynx still trailing. Now they're trailing by 7, 52-45. You can grab them now, plus 2.5. I'm not going to double down. I got them. Well, I tell you, you can start making the case that Indiana, I don't know if they're better. I won't go that far without Caitlin Clark, but they have a couple of impressive wins. They are clearly more than just Caitlin Clark. I'll tell you that. So it's now 3.5 as Indiana on the road, Commissioner's Cup leading by 9. Cam Stewart coming up next here on the Grid.
Kalshi has been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like, Ohtani, just by himself at the plate, is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say, keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he could be the MVP now. Oh, no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just pitched 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Like, don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe, hour number 2, as we check out a little baseball, a little NBA, a little soccer, try to connect with Cam Stewart. Hopefully we'll do that in a couple of minutes. But in the meantime, back to the baseball board, Joe. So need some runs here from Oakland and the Tampa Bay Devil Dogs. They are 3-3, and they are, now this says bottom of the ninth still with 2 out. And Tampa Bay all of a sudden has 2 runners on base. So I thought for sure they would be going to extra innings, but you never know. So a little 3-run homer is not the worst thing in the world, but no wonder they had the 7.5 still up there. Figures.
Yeah, I'm seeing 3 outs now. Right? It's like they
3?
jumped out. Yeah, I'm seeing the 3 outs. We're safe. We're gonna go to extras here. We're good.
Woo! Thank goodness for that. All right, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cubbies 4-2 over the Guardians. I don't, there's series like that, the Oakland, if you will, Tampa Bay series. And nothing jumps off the page for me. Same thing here with Cubs and Guardians. It's 4-2 Cubs, bottom of the 6th inning. Not a bad, obviously good game, two decent teams, but no initial thought. Over under is 8.5 on that one, Joe. Do you have any interest in that game today?
So I took the Cubs team total over 4.5 coming into this. The over 4.5 was minus 104. I also looked at the Cubs on that run line, laying 1.5. It was coming in at plus 112. This team has been able to win a bunch of their games by multiple runs as of late, and the Cleveland Guardians have had those struggles in keeping games tight. So I looked there. Right now, the problem is you got to lay 2.5. Laying the 2.5 is coming in at plus 104 for the Chicago Cubs. I am seeing them with runners on first and second, but 2 outs here. So I would wait. I'd wait a minute and see if you can get a 1.5 back, or even a 2.5 with better plus money if they get out of this inning, if the Guardians do, without allowing the Cubs to score again. Because I do think they'll score again at some point and then cover that run line. But at this point, I want more plus money, Scott.
Some quirky numbers with this game, including Jose Ramirez, who's a great hitter, right? I mean, really, just not just good. He's well above average hitter. And, for the most part, Wrigley Field's a hitter's, ballpark, not a pitcher's ballpark. And yet, Jose Ramirez for the Guardians, obviously, is hitting in 13 games at Wrigley Field. He's hitting 188, and he's 0 for 3 again tonight. I don't know what it is about Wrigley Field that a career 300 hitter can't hit his way out of a paper bag. But, boy, that is very bizarre, really bizarre. The Guards, they've been scuffling of late, Joe. They started out 29-22. I got their team total over this season. It's right around 500. Thinking, okay, that's going to be, on off to a good start as it is. I wouldn't say it's going to be a winner by any stretch. But since then, they're 11-20. 10-3 under because they can't score, not hitting, as we've talked about a lot of teams. So, that's one of the reasons why if their best player wasn't going to do well, then how is that team, which is struggling, going to do well, which is why I stayed away. But maybe the Cubs were the actual play. So,
nice.
6-2.
I don't know. Yeah. 6-2, 4? Who's 6-2?
No, Houston. Yeah, Houston 6-2 now. It's Colorado. We're going to have to sweat that one out. Maybe I would never actually bet on Colorado, even with 4 runs, but Colorado plus 4.5 runs plus odds, I bet is going to be a winner. I'm not telling you to bet it, but I got a feeling that's going to be a winner.
Do you have a feeling they're going to come back and win this game? Right? Because this looks like this was the line where it looked so easy just to bet the Astros, especially as that juice dropped to -144 going into the game. Right? Like at plus 750, are the Rockies coming back? Like, are we going to get something weird tonight?
I hope not. I really hope not. My stomach can't take too many weird things. With this Texas Ranger team, these last 2 days costing us winners. I can't. I got enough. I've had enough to share my bad beats already for the week in 2 days. So I may have to put a couple shekels on Colorado just to hedge it, Joe. Just to avoid. Again, this is where doing this for 30 plus years, you just there's certain games. You know what? I think the ceiling is dripping on me. I think yes. If this is my last second, and the ceiling comes crashing down, people can say, you know what? He was doing what he loved most, right? He was on the air when the ceiling above him crashed. Unlike hopefully my bets. So, okay, there we go.
Get that plus
can you see that dripping? Can you see that? Hold on, I gotta look up. What is?
Don't get it in the mouth, Scott. That would be awful.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm just hoping it's a pipe and not like not. You may have to take the next segment, Joe.
Yeah. Okay. The Colorado Rockies are plus 750. We got a live total of 15.5 in this one here with the Houston Astros leading at 6-2. Scott and I have been talking about how fishy this line looked going into it. It didn't give us much ease, so we grabbed the Houston Astros at plus 100. But Scott, you're willing to do a little sprinkle plus 750? I think I am too.
We gotta get an umbrella. That's all we did. We just someone should have put an umbrella in here. Like it'd be like dancing in the rain here.
It's the best thing to do. I love jumping in puddles, Scott.
Hey, listen, it's pouring outside. Apparently, I mean, all these games on the East Coast all getting delayed. So I'm sure I can't see outside. I don't have windows to see outside. So I'm sure it's pouring. So maybe that's what's causing.
Scott Wetzel rained out.
I don't know.
Look at that.
Yeah. Yes, Scott. Yeah. With all the baseball rainouts, Wetzel gets rained out at SportsGrid. Probably putting that on the payroll sheet. All right, so 3-3. Yeah, we got 3-3. All right, we got a runner for the A's at third base with one out. That's good. We do have a run out of Kansas City. That's not good. So 1-0 Royals. No big deal. Bottom of the first inning. Don't know if you had a Nerfy or a Yurfy in that game. No score, bottom of the first inning, San Fran and Arizona. And then the Dodger game starts in about 20 minutes or so.
Perfect.
A couple of highlights. Yeah. You didn't have a Nerfy in that one or a Yurfy? Didn't play that one?
No, the Nerfies and Yurfies have been killing me as of late. So I've stayed off them, Scott. I've been on the wrong side for the last couple of days. So I just didn't touch any today.
All right, we'll close up shop next. In-game live game day here on the grid.
Kalshi has been around since 2018, offering these event contract trading prediction markets where you can wager on things like the weather, whether or not Dave Portnoy is going to give a 9.0 on his next pizza review spot, and then the election, which is where they really made headlines. Election betting is technically illegal.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Put Pete Crow Armstrong on the mound to see what he does. Like, Ohtani just by himself at the plate is the best hitter in Major League Baseball. Let's just say keep it in the National League at this point. He's the MVP. So I can't wait till he pitches 6 innings, he gives up 5 earned runs. Time they go like, I don't know if he could be the MVP now. Oh no, he's still hitting 300 with 45 jacks and just pitched 6 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And people are going to hold that against him.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Like, don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe, final segment. Wrapping up shop up top of the hour in 5 minutes. Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart as they take you over the next 2 on SportsGrid Radio and SportsGrid TV. Just a reminder about our Black Cloud play of the day. It is the Dodgers. They get underway in about 10 minutes or so. Still have time to get the play in. It's the biggest inning. Now, this is not available after the first pitch, so that's why I want to bring it up again. Who scores the most runs in their half of an inning? Dodgers are minus 176, you see there. And to me, it's, listen, chances are if they have the highest scoring inning, Joe, they probably win by 2 runs. But, you never know. I mean, I'm not going to lay the minus 350. You played under White Sox, which I like as well. Just different ways to kind of bet this thing because you can't bet it straight. And I don't want to lay a 1.5 because of the numbers I gave you, but I do think the Dodgers are probably good for a 3 or 4 run inning, and I don't know if the White Sox are. Ties on those bets, by the way, are losers. They're not pushes. So it has to be Dodgers score more runs in a half of an inning than the White Sox do. So
they get you everywhere, hey? Right?
Yeah.
It's just straight loser, right?
Yeah.
It's not fair.
So it's like a soccer bet, win, lose, or draw. So it's like a draw is a loss because you can bet that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, A's have runners on first and third, 1 out. Trying to get some runs in the top of the 10th inning. We're sitting on an over 10.5, or over 7.5. They're not giving you any odds on this at all for whatever reason. Normally they give you something, but they're not doing that. It's kind of a weird game, though, this last inning for them, Joe. Angels have 2 runners on, 4-0 over the Braves, top of the 9th inning with nobody out. That's locked up as well, unfortunately. We talked about the Cubs and Guardians. Astros 6-2, and that's really it. So no real changes. But any final thoughts on those games before maybe we touch on a couple of quickies for tomorrow?
Well, I do think the Seattle Mariners down 1-0 versus the Kansas City Royals. Both you and I like the Seattle Mariners in tonight's matchup. It's only 1-0, so plus 122 here for the Seattle Mariners to come back instead of laying that juice that they originally were. It's moved like 50 cents because they were minus 156. So I do think it's a nice price here for the Seattle Mariners to come back and get the win. They're going to hit off of Lorenzen, and we're just we're going to go to the top of the second. So they weren't able to in the first inning here, but I have faith Seattle's going to hit off of Lorenzen in this one.
All right. Looks like Indiana's going to win the WNBA Commissioner's Cup for what it's worth, which is really nothing, but still, they're leading by 12, 67-55, fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. I didn't see that one coming, especially without Caitlin Clark. I mean, I really I put Minnesota in. I'm kicking myself here because I had a great chance to hedge. It was 4.5 earlier today. I thought Caitlin Clark wasn't playing the whole time, but I guess people thought she would for some reason because she's missed the last couple of games. So I had Minnesota laying 4.5, and the line jumped up to 9.5, 10. I could have hedged, but I just figured, you know what, they're going to win. And, barring something crazy here, they're actually going to lose. Forget about covering. They're going to lose outright, Joe. How about that?
Well, yeah, the books have now made them 11.5 point favorite. That totals 133.5. And Scott, I'm so glad that you didn't hedge in this situation. There's games that you go into when you're liking the underdog. You're getting them at a good price. And when you see them come out nice and strong, there's no point in hedging. And you called it perfectly in this game. Fingers crossed with the next 2 minutes and 16 seconds left. Don't want to jinx you.
Yeah. I got enough jinxes already, right? So World Cup qualifying. Yeah, halftime. It's Dortmund out of Germany 2 and Monterrey out of Mexico nothing. Joe, again, scratch Marcelinos Ortiz off our list. That's it. He's done. One shot at glory. He gave us the loser here, right?
You're hard on everyone's job, man. I can imagine what you say.
Listen, I got rained on today. I'm sitting in a rain delay here at SportsGrid. So no, I'm just kidding. He's a good guy, and we'll have him on again. So anyway, listen, you take flyers on favorites. Yeah. So soccer's a little goofy to bet, because you could actually get a favorite as if you're willing to have them win in regulation and then not the draw, and it really does lower the odds quite a bit. And I guess Dortmund's the much better team. So. But every once in a while, you take a flyer, And listen, it's 2-0 at the half. We know how soccer matches all end up 7-5, 7-6. So we got plenty of time, right?
Plenty of time. The A's put a run on the board. They're up 4-3. We're in the bottom of the 10th.
Oh, they only got the one. Not only, unfortunately, 4-3. All right. So we need one more for our over 7.5. Keep your fingers crossed. Joe, great job as always. Joe and I will be back here tomorrow night, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We got Cam and Gabe coming up next. Enjoy your night, folks.